Everyone who watches Candace Owens, especially since becoming Brigitte serious, thought about it at least once. She needs to be careful. She needs to get security. It's getting too real. Especially after what happened to Charlie Kirk. And today I woke up to this tweet of Candace. Urgent. 2 days ago I was contracted by a high-ranking employee of the French government. After determining this person's position and proximity to the French couple, I have deemed the information they gave me to be credible enough to share publicly in the event that something happens. In short, this person claims that the Macrons have executed upon and paid for my assassination. Yes, you read that correctly. More specifically, that the green light was given to a small team in National Gendarmerie Intervention Group. I am told there is one Israeli that is on this assassination squad and the plans were formalized. Again, this person provided concrete proof that they are well placed within the French government apparatus. Further to this point, this person claims that Charlie Kirk's assassin trained with the French Legion 13th Brigade with multi-state involvement. Journalist Xavier Poussaud's life is also at risk. This is deadly serious. The head of state of France apparently wants us both and has authorized professional units to carry this out. I ask that every person retweet and share this. I do not know who in the American government can be trusted, since this source claims our leaders are aware, so American leaders are aware of it. Damn. But I have more specific information which is definitively verifiable, should they care to reach out to me. To the brave official in France who did this because they were so moved by the evil of Charlie's public execution to risk their own life, may God bless you truly. Let all be revealed. Suddenly what Andrew Kolvet said on the phone call to Candace only 2 or 3 days after Charlie's incident, it was supposed to be you, takes on a very different, extremely disturbing meaning. And it places TPUSA, whether intentionally or not, in the middle of an unbelievably dark chain of implications. For those of you little behind with the story, Andrew Kolvet was Charlie's friend, working with him at TPUSA, and after Charlie's death, he took over the podcast. Let's have a little reminder what Andrew told Candace on the day and few days after the 9/10.
I want to tell you guys this. There's another phone call that I had with Andrew Kolvet where I was crying on the phone with him. I mean, I am talking maybe 72 hours max after Charlie was killed, and he was also upset on the phone. But he said something, and it's hitting differently the more that I think about it. He said, and I quote, "Candace, it was supposed to be you." Was he being honest? Was Andrew being honest? Was Andrew trying to maybe communicate to me after, especially given the fact that I told you that while the actual day on September 10th, while Charlie was in the hospital, he told me that there was a list and that me and Tucker Carlson were on it and that we had to lay low, but he never told me who told him that. I never got a call from the feds telling me that. So I feel like these questions I have now are quite valid. Andrew, by the way, was not the only person who called me on that day and reached out to my family on that day with this warning, immediately cautioning me and Tucker to keep our mouths shut, telling us that we should lay low because there was a quote-unquote list going around. Another person was a very well-known woman who happens to be married to a CIA contractor. Same exact message. You and Tucker Carlson.
Candace already said on multiple occasions that once she verifies any information she gets, she publishes it, just in case. Just so there are no unanswered questions in case something happened to her. She has trusted people whom she gave access to her files with all communications and investigation logs. After weeks of ruthless attacks on her character, people calling her a grifter, a psycho, lunatic, the last 24 hours on Candace's channel and social media were absolutely crazy. It seemed like attacks on her character doubled down, tripled down. Now, we didn't see any receipts of this most recent revelation yet. It's just a tweet for now claiming it happened. But given everything that transpired since Thursday, it could look believable. I am not saying it's true, and this is in fact it happened, but it looks compelling and freaking scary. If this is real, and again, I'm saying if this is real, and the reason we need to stay on the side of caution is that this is an incredibly serious accusation to state publicly. I don't think she would publish it without investigating this tip and making sure she has all the facts straight. But people on X who are against Candace started posting that they will purposely start sending in false tips to continue pranking her and ridicule her online. However, calling for pranking her with fake evidence happened after she received this insane information. Anyway, the internet has been obsessing over one detail that Candace shared on Thursday about the Secret Service address that matched with her lawyer's address in Delaware. Candace, on a Thursday episode of her podcast, read parts of an anonymous email she got a while ago. The email was supposed to be from someone who worked for the feds, or at least had some compelling information on what happened around 10th of September, the date of Charlie Kirk's assassination. It was all related to Egyptian planes and insinuation that some big government official, not an American one, flew into Provo on the morning of September 10th, just a couple of hours before the worst happened. She said this official was picked up and taken to 1 Rodney Square, 920 North King Street, Wilmington, Delaware. Then someone online exposed that this is also the address of the law firm representing her in the Macron lawsuit. So here is the clip that hijacked the internet before Candace tweeted about Macron's alleged involvement. By the way, there was information circulating that this clip was posted by a guy who paid to infiltrate Candace's book club before and released a clip of her talking about her being disappointed in Trump. The guy then ran with the narrative that she accused Trump of unaliving Charlie Kirk. So we know we can trust this guy, right? Because his past claims about Candace were so valid, whatever. Anyway, here is that clip.
Like I said, someone emailed us and we took our time vetting this tip. We vetted it across multiple government agencies and to really the highest levels of government. So this is legit. I've printed it out and I'm going to read around some parts, removing some parts to provide this individual, who, by the way, I have no idea who this is, but to give him and her even some more coverage. They're taking a tremendous risk. So I'm just going to read this to you guys. Candace, I'm aware that you suspect the government and other entities are involved in the events leading up to and on September 10th. You might have been wondering why SUBTT made so many visits to Wilmington, Delaware, out of all places, and I can personally answer that. The information I am giving you will implicate the FBI and various other government agencies all at the same time. I am entirely confident in stating that the plane and those vehicles are connected to 920 North King Street, which is at a place that is marketed also as 1 Rodney Square. Here's where it gets big. In June of 1997, the Department of Justice's own directory lists, quote, Wilmington Resident Office, 1 Rodney Square, Suite 404, 920 King Street, Wilmington, Delaware, 19801. That is your line to know that it is a federal resident office, 920 North King Street. And at the same address, the United States Secret Service, 920 North King Street, Wilmington, Delaware, 19801. It's the building that Snowden leaked. Find one that makes it look brown and then compare it to 920 North King Street in Wilmington. It looks exactly like a mini version of the thing. Back to 920 North King Street, 920 North King Street. That 920 North King Street is also the FBI. Federal SUVs move from that airport to 920 North King Street. 920 North King Street has been a federal residence office since at least 1997, and today it houses the DEA, the FBI, and the United States Secret Service, all at the same address. Wilmington is undeniably a terminal point, and the only logical reason points to 920 North King Street. I read this, checked it, verified it. One Rodney Square, 920 King Street, Wilmington, Delaware, 19801. I am passing this to you because you are honest enough to see this for what it is.
As you saw, 1 Rodney Square, 920 North King Street, Wilmington, Delaware. People immediately declared, she got pranked. The whistleblower is fake. This proves the entire case is made up. First of all, if she did get pranked, why? Why would someone try so hard to sabotage what she's trying to do? Is it just a hater? Or is it someone who's trying to sabotage her whole investigation? It's a valid question. Why would someone orchestrate this gotcha moment? Someone actively thought to write this super long email, list details of the operations regarding the Egyptian planes, and then thought, she will look dumb if I sneak in this Secret Service address, which is also her lawyer's address. She will never catch it. Someone posted this. Remember the White House asked Candace Owens to stop talking about Macron's wife because of the peace deal? They contacted her 4 times to stop her. That's wild and proved that WTP hold the power. She gave in thinking she could end the war. Charlie Kirk was killed to send her a message. Why is everyone trying to stop this woman from talking? By the way, stay tuned for my next episode where I will be speaking about this very phone call between Charlie Kirk and Candace and the timeline of events Candace put together. It gets very interesting. So anyway, when the information about the address came out, I was also like, what the hell? Why wouldn't she mention that it was her lawyer's address? Did she really get played? But this narrative exploding online that she simply got pranked is not just wrong, it's lazy, and it collapses the second you stop reacting emotionally and start thinking. Here is Candace's tweet addressing the backlash. Looks like another round of desperate and fake debunking regarding the Egyptian planes. These federally sponsored trends are as fun as they are predictable now. And I can tell you guys with absolute certainty that today I learned the federal government is in panic about the mention of the joint DHS, FBI and DEA office at 920 and King. The tip proved absolutely solid and I was informed so. It is now a fact that the foreign dignitary was picked up after arriving from Provo the morning of Charlie's assassination on the Egyptian plane and then transferred to 920 King for some joint operation. And yes, despite the massive office space, there is nothing else in that building except a law firm and a place to eat. The law firm piece is an interesting side fact related to portions of the email that I chose not to read on air. Yet. Stay tuned. Yet. And I did tune in to Friday's episode. I think many haters did too, just to see if she will address this situation. She admitted that at the time she read the letter, she did not know the address of the 3-letter agencies was the exact same address that was tied to her Brigitte Macron lawsuit. She didn't try to cover it up, but it was still a bit weird. Take a look.
By the way, to their false debunking, where they said Candace's lawyer is in this office. So to clarify matters for you guys, first and foremost, there were parts of that letter that I did not read for a very specific reason. Secondly, my lawyer, as you guys know, watching the show, has always been Noah. And the way that lawsuits work is state by state, they have different laws. And so when we oddly got sued in Delaware, Noah then has to attach his license, meaning he's my lawyer on this case, but he has to find a legal firm that will take us and allow us to attach their license to him in order to file paperwork. That's just how it works. So in every circumstance, in every lawsuit that I've been involved in, you will see that it's never Noah that's actually filing or listed on any of the paperwork for that reason. And it can vary state by state, but I've always seen that to be the case. I was not aware of that before this letter, is what I will say. And that is what I will say. I will say that right now, because I think that is enough to say.
It's weird, right? How she said it. She looked like she wanted to add something more, context maybe, but suddenly stopped. Her expression shifted, like someone told her in her earpiece, do not continue. Now we know what was on her mind and what caused this weird moment. Someone on X commented, and that was under her tweet, the latest tweet. So this is why you were stammering and stuttering in your last life. You're always so fluent, concise, and confident in your thoughts when you communicate, and this time it just felt kind of different. I thought it was the prank thing, but now I'm sure it's this. Please be safe. But here is the part that every debunk conveniently ignores. One Rodney Square is a massive building with multiple tenants, and it also houses a federal FBI resident agency. Apparently, this is not unusual in Delaware, a state where corporate law firms and federal offices frequently share buildings. So the argument that the whistleblower must be fake because Candace's lawyers are in the same building is just lazy. Let's not forget, please, Macrons filed a lawsuit against Candace in Delaware. Her companies are registered in Delaware. The firm representing her, Richard Layton and Finger, is the biggest corporate law firm in the state. Of course, they're located in the main corporate building. But the address is not the story here, the timeline is. Okay, what led up to that Friday tweet. Here's what remains undeniably true. We have this timeline here. So Candace claims, well, not only claims, but also provided the flight logs that an Egyptian military plane landed in Utah about a week before Charlie Kirk's assassination. It was an Egyptian Air Force jet, tail number SUBTT, that flew into Provo, Utah from France on September 4th. This wasn't a tourist flight, it was an official military aircraft, and its arrival in Utah was already unusual on its own. It wasn't empty either. The plane was carrying military contractors. These weren't random passengers, these were trained individuals, and they didn't immediately leave. They stayed for 6 days, almost a full week on the ground in Utah, moving around quietly without any public explanation for why they were there or what they were doing. During that same window, witnesses reported seeing someone on the rooftop of the building where Charlie Kirk was later shot. Not after the fact, before it happened. People saw activity in that exact location in the days leading up to the assassination. The group also rented vehicles, and Candace published the receipts. So they weren't just sitting in a hotel, they were moving around Utah in multiple cars, leaving a paper trail behind. Then, hours before the assassination, not days, not weeks, the plane took off from Utah. Roughly 5 hours before Charlie was shot, the Egyptian military aircraft departed. And it didn't go anywhere random. It flew straight to Wilmington, Delaware. Here's where it gets even stranger. The arrival in Wilmington did not appear in normal aviation logs. That doesn't happen by accident. The only time arrivals are hidden from standard tracking is when a flight is processed as diplomatic or foreign dignitary. When that happens, there are strict rules. These arrivals require federal escort vehicles. The passengers do not walk out and call an Uber. They are met by federal agencies. That's protocol. And according to the whistleblower, these escort vehicles that met the plane in Wilmington came from 1 Rodney Square. That's the federal resident FBI office located in the exact same building people are trying to use to debunk the story. Anyway, Candace's show on Friday, comments started rolling in on X. That's all that you're going to say about the address? That doesn't give any explanation or fix why it was mentioned by the public in the first place. Were you catfished by a fake informant regarding the planes? What's the deal? And another one. What if your lawyer's office being in the same building as the FBI and Macrons a block down adds validity to the statement? It was supposed to be you. Kolvet may have had inside knowledge after all. That is crazy your lawyer is in that building. Who set you up with them? Well, someone was right on the money here, weren't they? We are looking at a major moment in history. I am here not to spew conspiracy theories, but just to report and maybe offer some perspective. Because we all can have different political views, different opinions. We might not like each other very much, but ending someone's life or plotting to do so for talking, it's dark. It's something we should all be against. But as usual, I want to know what you guys think. Do you believe Candace Owens' tweet, or are you skeptical? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and share it. And if you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe to my channel and turn on the notifications to never miss another daily Freddo episode. Stay tuned for the future episodes. It's going to be worth it. That's all for today. Have a good one.